You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, Fed Day, first day of May, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Wherever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. This is our second live broadcast of the trading day. We do two every trading day. Now, the first broadcast is private, members only, and those taking their 1 week free trial. If you have not taken your 1 week free trial, you can do so by going to mytradingiq.com. And at the very top of the page, there's a link that says 5-day free trial, no credit card required. Click the link, fill out the registration form. Keep in mind it's an automated process, so it's important that you fill out the registration form properly so that we get it, so that we can give you your free trial, enable your indicators, get your desktop set up. Typically, all of that will be done the same day that you register. Now, the trial is not just the live training room. When you take the 5-day trial, you have access to all the resources that our passport holders have access to for 5 trading days at no cost to you, so that you can make a well-informed and intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. If you see it on this screen, you got access to it for 5 consecutive trading days. Now, it doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend that you sign up for the trial. Once we get your desktop set up and your indicators indicating, you'll get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. In fact, it's a pretty good way to turn a 5-day trial into a 7-day trial, because the weekend doesn't count against you. Now, if you're new to the world of CFRN, the great resource for you is going to be found on our YouTube channel. In fact, every day when the live training room ends at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break, and we come back for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's a couple of different ways you can join the afternoon broadcast live. And the best way, because you only have to do it once, is go to mytradingiq.com and scroll down the page this time to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click that link, fill out that 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. And so at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is open that email, and there's a link in there. Click the link. It will automatically log you into our platform. Now, the benefit is you'll have access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. And you won't have that 10 to 15 second delay that you have with YouTube. Now, that part's really not that important. But the question box on the YouTube channel, I'm not able to monitor that until Michael joins us at 12:45. So if you come in the other door, I can get your questions up front, or you can hold them to 12:45, type them into the YouTube chat box, and I'll be happy to answer them there. Okay? Now, not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,500 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And again, if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but thanks to the power of YouTube, you can see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more, and just pick days at random. Listen in a little bit. Fast forward, watch a little more, go to another day, do the same thing. You'll discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast and our very vibrant trading community. youtube.com/CFRN. Really easy to remember because you already know the YouTube part. So you only have to remember CFRN. All right, let's get rolling with our daily devotional and a word of prayer as we do every day. Then we'll get into the markets. Of course, we've got the Fed announcement this afternoon. About 12:45, 12:50, Michael will join us. Just a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. Then we'll go live on the TradingView platform for about 30 minutes. Then I'll wrap everything up. Now, we're beginning a new topic today. Something that far too many of you are familiar with. The world is familiar with. We'll spend a few days on it. Rest of the week at least. Going through hard times. Ever done that? Chances are you have. Today's scripture is John 16, verses 31 through 33. And I'm going to share with you from the Message translation. Jesus answered them, "Do you finally believe? In fact, you're about to make a run for it, saving your own skins and abandoning me. But I'm not abandoned. The Father is with me. I've told you all this so that trusting me, you will be unshakable and assured, deeply at peace. In this godless world, you will continue to experience difficulties. But take heart. I've conquered the world." Again, that's John 16, verses 31 through 33. Now, if you're going through a difficult time in your life right now, take heart, you're not alone. In fact, 100% of people in the world will experience some type of hardship or difficult season in their lives. Whether you're in one now, are coming out of one, or will be going into one, they are a part of life. No one enjoys going through hard times. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who enjoyed going through a challenging time? Probably not. There's no medicine we can take to keep troubles away, nor is there any amount of positive thinking or self-talk that will prevent us from going through hard times. So while it may feel like we're the only ones going through our tough situations, we're not. It's part of the human condition. But we can find encouragement in what Jesus taught. Like he said in John 16:33, you will have trouble. He understood what we'd be up against. A world full of depravity, sin, hatred, and a spiritual enemy who wants to destroy us. But thankfully, he also said that we can take heart because he has overcome the world. We don't have to live discouraged in a discouraging world. We can still live a full, rich life, knowing that in the end, we will be victorious. Jesus came to earth for one reason: mankind. He came to save us and offer us eternal life. And many are often taught that if we say yes to Jesus and accept him as our Savior, that trouble and difficult times will just miss us altogether. Well, I'm sorry they lied to you, but that's just not true. This study that we're going to do over the next couple days won't eliminate the real challenges you're facing, nor will it remove any heartache that you're enduring. What I hope it will do is offer you some strength and courage to just keep taking the next step. You don't have to take 20 steps today. Just take the next one. And then tomorrow, take another one. We'll talk over the next couple of days about some of the whys behind our pain and how we can navigate the daunting roads that they bring. Hopefully, as we discuss this topic, you'll embrace just how much God loves you, how he will use your pain for his purposes, and how he'll change you from the inside out. He has good plans for you, even in and through your pain. I encourage you to keep going to see just what those plans are. Something to reflect on. What's happening in your life that is preoccupying your thoughts? I want you to think about it for a minute. And then I want you to write down the outcome you desire. And hopefully, by the end of this discussion, over the next few days, what I just asked you to do will make sense. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, we're thankful for the comforting words of Jesus, where he assures his disciples of his victory over the world. Lord, we thank you for the peace that Jesus offers us in the midst of life's trials and tribulations. Help us, Lord, to take heart and find courage in the knowledge that Jesus has overcome the world. Grant us the strength to face whatever challenges or difficulties may come our way, knowing that we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Lord, we confess that there are times when we allow fear and anxiety to overshadow our faith. Forgive us, Lord, and help us to trust in your promises and your faithfulness to see us through every situation. Teach us, Lord, to abide in Jesus, the true vine, drawing our strength and nourishment from him. May his peace guard our hearts and minds, and may his joy be our strength, even in the midst of life's many storms. Pray, Lord, for your guidance and protection in all that we do. Help us to walk in obedience to your will and to follow Jesus' example of faithfulness, even unto death. Thank you, Lord, for the victory that we have in Jesus. May his peace reign in our hearts, and may we live as witnesses to your power and your glory in all that we do. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. And happy Fed Day. Should be an interesting afternoon. Now, the announcement will come out at 2, and so there'll be some volatility there. The street doesn't expect there to be a change of any kind, but you never know. And if the street's consensus is correct, that there's no change, no cut, and hopefully no raise in the interest rates, things should settle down pretty quickly. But then at 2:30 Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Eastern this afternoon, Jerome Powell will step up to the podium and deliver a prepared statement, which will create some volatility. Then he will take questions from the audience, and that has the potential to create much volatility. So the best trade on an FOMC Wednesday afternoon is no trade at all. Just saying. All right, numbers from around the world, starting in the U.S., the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Dow's up 115 points. The NASDAQ is down 53. S&P 500 is down 12. And the Russell 2000 is down 3.5. As we mentioned yesterday, it would probably be pretty flat and sideways as we head into the Fed. And that's pretty much what we have in front of us today. In the commodity basket, there's definitely some action there. Crude oil is down $2.67. Now that's $2,670 per contract traded. And the price of crude moves $1. That's worth $1,000 per contract traded. So basically, crude is down almost 3.5% on the day. 3.25%, a little over 3.25%. Gold up $11, trading $23.1410 last. Silver up 8 cents, trading $26.74 last. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei dropped 131 points. Shanghai dropped 8, but the Hang Seng gained a whopping 16 points. More flat, more sideways. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 22 points. The DAX down 186 points, which is a little over 1%. And the CAC down 80 points, almost 1%. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia, a red day for the UK, and it's a mixed radio Fed day here in the US of A, with the Dow currently being the only one in the green and 112 points for the Dow. Honestly, that's not a lot, but it is green nonetheless. And the other three are in the red. 48 points for the NASDAQ, not a lot. 12 points for the S&P. Not a lot, really. And down 3 points on the Russell. Not much there either. So, like I said, flat and sideways till we get the Fed behind us. And then we'll see what tomorrow brings. Now, a couple things to share with you. A closely tracked wage growth metric hit its highest level in a year during the first quarter, fueling concerns that sticky inflation may be pervasive and prompt the Federal Reserve to hold interest rates steady for longer than initially hoped. So we've gone from transitory, Janet, to sticky. Okay. New data out yesterday from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed that compensation costs increased 1.2% in the first quarter, above the prior quarter's 1% increase and higher than the 0.9% economists had expected. Now, U.S. job openings slid in March to the lowest level in more than 3 years, but stayed at historically high levels and a sign that the job market remains resilient in the face of higher interest rates. Right, because everybody now has to have 2 jobs or maybe 3 to make their car payment or mortgage payment or to try to get a house, put a roof over their family's head. The Labor Department reported this morning that employers posted 8.5 million vacancies in March, down from 8.8 million in February, and the fewest since February of 2021. The number of Americans just quitting their jobs fell to the lowest level since January of 2021, a sign of diminishing confidence in their ability to find something better. The layoffs fell. Monthly job openings are down sharply from a peak of 12.2 million in March of 2022, but remain at a high level. Before 2021, they'd never exceeded 8 million, a threshold they have now reached for 37 straight months. I think they call that Bidenomics, but who knows? U.S. prosecutors are examining financial transactions at Block, according to NBC. NBC reported that federal prosecutors were discussing with a former employee alleged widespread compliance lapses at Square and Cash App companies' 2 main units. Areas under investigation include whether the company failed to gather sufficient information on customers to assess risks. If Square processed transactions involving countries subject to economic sanctions, and if Block handled cryptocurrency transactions for terrorist group. Spokespeople for Block, whose shares fell more than 7% in early trading, did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comments, but told an NBC that the company has a responsible and extensive compliance program, and that it is committed to continually improving it. And last but not least, former President Donald Trump has secured an additional $1.8 billion worth of shares in Trump Media. That's from a regulatory filing this week. Based on the company's stock hitting certain price benchmarks, Trump was awarded an additional 36 million shares in the company that owns his social media platform, Truth Social. That brings his total ownership to more than 114 million shares, which, based on this morning's stock price, are worth approximately $5.7 billion. Guess he'll be able to pay that fine. The new $9,000 fine for being so outspoken. Huh. All right, Logic 247, our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. We're in week 300, and over the last 300 weeks, we've issued over 15,000, I believe it's 600 individual handcrafted alerts, somewhere in that area. And what we've averaged is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Valerie did this recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. There have probably been some changes, and I know there have been some additional alerts that have gone out. But this is where we stood at 6:30 a.m. this morning, and she'll update everything this afternoon, as she does. Since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 24 alerts. Still waiting on the outcome of 4. That's 20 actionable alerts, of which 1 or 5% would have been stopped out based on market structure and that very simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, long before we had Logic 247, it'd probably be about 600 weeks. Yeah, we're in week 300 of Logic, so probably about 600 weeks. We have the concierge trade alerts, and they're a little bit different. Now, with the Logic alerts, you get an entry price, an initial target, designed to help you get your goal for the day, then additional targets, and then a final trade to target. The purpose of the alerts is not for you to just trade the alerts and not worry about learning how to trade. The alerts are themselves part of the educational process. The alerts are designed to help you spot windows of opportunity in the market. What you should do is when a Logic alert comes out, even if it's a market you don't trade, go to the 30-minute chart, draw a horizontal line at the entry price, draw a horizontal line at the initial target, goal for the day. Then draw additional horizontal lines at all the other targets, whether they're potential resistance or potential support. Depends on if it's a long or short trade. If you repeat this process every day for a couple weeks, pretty soon You won't even need the logic alerts because you'll just look at the chart and see the same thing I see. There's no secret. There's no mystery. You just have to learn to read the chart. So I give you the information. You go look at their 30-minute chart and suss out where that information came from. Then pretty soon, you don't need me to point that out for you. Our goal is for you to become self-sufficient. You want to become self-sufficient. That'll never happen as long as you've got to wait for somebody else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. You need to learn how to read a chart. You need to be able to look at any chart of anything and instinctively know what the next high probability move is. Now with the CTAs, they're a little bit different. They don't come out around the clock like the logic alerts. Published as a static report shortly after the Globex open. Last night they were published at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? Yep, 6:30. Now, when the report is published, the first thing you want to do is go to the 30-minute chart of whatever markets you actually do trade. Make a note where price is at the time the report is published. It'll always be between these two numbers. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target. Draw a line in the sand at the short target. You can hang on for me just 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Now, with the logic alerts, you get the entry price, the initial target, and then additional targets. The CTAs, you get a long target and a short target. Price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. It's pretty simple. The BBC is the green line you'll see on all my charts. Just stands for bull, bear, cross. Price gets above the green line, we're bullish and anticipate higher prices. If price gets below the green line, then we're bearish and we anticipate lower prices. Now, the alerts are always based off the 30-minute chart. BBC, you can put it on the daily chart, the hourly chart, a 5-minute chart, a tick chart, a range chart. And if price gets above the BBC, anticipate higher prices. If it gets below the BBC, anticipate lower prices. Relative to whatever time frame you're looking at. Now, you're going to start looking left yourself to spot the potential obstacles. Previous swing highs or swing lows, and you'll learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. Price is always trying to reach a weekly zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon. We've published the zones since December 14th of 2009. They come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, and once they're published Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. Beyond that, just resist the urge to make it more complicated. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Now, start your trading session looking at the daily chart. Whether you trade the S&P or not. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, price flow is the same across all markets and all time frames. Now here's the deal. Institutional traders, the ones, massive account size, that actually move price, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, stick charts, and range charts. So when you look at the daily chart, you're literally looking over the shoulder of the deep pockets that actually move price. That's a pretty good deal, right? Yesterday, it was pretty clear. All day. We had a red candle. So I wasn't looking for any buying opportunities. Don't know about you. But we did talk about the potential support here at Blue and Climbing. We knew the BBC represented resistance. Blue and Climbing represents support. Well, guess what? We opened last night below Blue and Climbing. And so far today, we've got a little tiny doji. Now that's probably going to change when the Fed starts answering questions. So, where's the next major support? At the 38% fib extension. Right here. That would basically be the low of April 25th. And also the low of April 22nd. And where we close on April 19th. And we have this low to deal with as potential support. And then these two guys right here, potential support. And then you've got a cluster, the 24% fib extension and the 38% fib retracement. That should be good for a bounce. Now, if the Fed says something today that sets the markets on fire, your resistance overhead is the 50% fib extension, the step line, the daily BBC, the trend line, the 62% fib extension, and then, of course, the all-time historic high. And then, of course, we would have some areas on the way up that we would look at as resistance. So the purpose of you looking at a daily chart before you start trading is to just get an idea of which way the wind's blowing. And this is perfect for a Fed day. It's telling you right now the wind ain't blowing. So leave it alone. 30-minute chart is where all alerts are created, as I said earlier. The vertical line separates today, Wednesday, from Tuesday, from Monday. Okay. Now, this is the lowest weekly trading zone for the week on the ES. Here's where we opened last night. Price attempted to pull back to the BBC, but it failed. Even with the support of Blue and Climbing, it failed. That's a big sign of weakness. So we came right down to the short target at 50.40 and found support. That support sent us to the BBC. Now the pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. As you can see, 1, 2, 3 times in a row. Price always reverts to the mean. And in our case, the mean is green. It's called the BBC. Again, it just stands for bull, bear, cross. Bullish above it, bearish below it, relative to whatever time frame you're looking at. But for the alerts, it's always the 30-minute chart. Okay. So we've been consolidating for hours at the BBC. We're printing a red candle like we did an hour ago. Okay. But we haven't taken out this low yet. We spiked it. We spiked the target a little bit. Got down to 37.75. This little wick hidden back there. Okay. Now, this is a valid area here. But again, probably better off not trading until this Fed business is over. Here's where we opened last night. Same thing. There wasn't enough buying strength to get us up to the BVC. But we also didn't make it to the short target. Buyers did come in. They got us above the BVC and they got us all the way up to the zone. Now that's the zone that was published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Coming down, when price hits a zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance, support, resistance, support, and now resistance. Lots of room to get your goal for the day here or here. You're looking for short trades below the BVC, long trades above. On the Russell, here's where we opened. Again, just like the other indices, not enough buying interest to get us up to the BVC. We rolled over, blue and climbing turned to red and falling, and we made a run at the short target. We didn't quite get there. We got to 72.10, so we missed it by point and a tick. Buyers did come in and take us right up to the zone, to the tick. So coming down yesterday, that was support till it wasn't. Today it represents the high of the day so far. I assume that will all change as the Fed comes to do his thing. On the NQ, here's where we opened last night. Again, a failed retracement to the BVC. See, this is a market looking for direction. That's why on the daily chart we have that little tiny doji. So we pull up to the BVC, the pullback holds more often than not. So we're now below the BVC. And this right here is the low of the session so far. Okay. With the NQ, you only need 5 points to get your goal for the day. So you could have done it, here, here. Crude oil. Here's the outlier for the week. We are below the lowest weekly trading zone. This is where we opened last night, and down we came to the target and to the zone. Right here, market found support, pushed us back to the zone, which when price rises to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. That resistance sent us back to support. So we have basically a double bottom going here. That bounces us above the zone, we get a doji, and that sends us lower. Now we've been consolidating sideways for an hour. Now, this is the only market where we're below the lowest weekly zone at the moment. Okay, but by close of business on Friday, based upon the last 15 years, we expect price to be at or above the lowest weekly zone. Have there ever been weeks where that didn't happen? Yes. A handful, maybe 2 handfuls over 15 years. Gold. All right, Michael should be here. Look and see if he's managed to get logged in. He had problems this morning. All right, gold. Here's where we opened last night, below the BBC, so we're thinking short. Now you only need a $1 move, like 22.94. Let's call it 22.93 to 22.92. That's your goal for the day. That's all it takes. Not much. Okay. When the price of gold moves $1, It's worth $100. Crude moves $1, $1,000. Silver moves $1, $5 grand. So price gets above the BVC, and we make a beeline up to the weekly zone at 2318/19. And we've just been consolidating there, but the step line has now crossed. See, on the way up, the step line was on the black line was on the left side of blue and climbing. Now it's on the right side. What does that tell us? The price will most likely retrace back to the VVC. And the question becomes, does it hold or not? If it doesn't hold, make sure you keep an eye on this bullish cross as potential support. If it does hold, okay, then of course you're going to expect resistance at the zone and at this little double top going on right here. Silver, we are in the July contract, basically sideways with an upward tilt. Leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement. Now, on this last leg, we put in a lower high. See, high, higher high, higher high, higher high, lower high. Seems to be running out of steam. So I would look for a sideways roll in at the Fed. Euro. Here's where we opened. Right out of weekly zone. Consolidated there for a little bit, a couple hours. And we made our drop to the target, pretty much to the tick. Buyers came in, took us back to the VBC. This time, even though the pullback holds more often than not, we know that eventually price will trade through, and it did. And it took us up to this high right here, which is 107.150. Look what's happening. Blue and climbing's turned to red and falling. So it looks like price is going to head back to the zone. And important to note, this bullish cross that took place, where the blue line got above the green line, that's right at the zone. So that would be support times 2. That brings us back to the daily chart. We have a doji. And I'll go look for Michael and see if I can find him.
All right. I think you guys can hear me now.
Yep.
Okay, good. I can hear you now too. I couldn't hear you a minute ago. That was odd. I was in as an attendee and I couldn't hear you. All right, and it's still not exactly right because I can't see who's in the meeting.
Well, I stopped talking for a while because I was looking for you.
Oh, okay. Well, I was having trouble getting in again. I don't know what's going on with it. It kicks me over to some other thing. It doesn't let me log in as an organizer. Anyway, here we go.
All right, looks good.
All right, we'll jump into it then. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the first day of May. It's May Day, first day of May, 2024. Now, if you've not taken a free trial, let's go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right there, and that big purple button. When you click on that, you'll be brought to this registration page, where on this page, All that we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. And down here at the bottom, if you use Ninja, give us your machine ID. If you use Trading View, give us a login ID. Click join. When you do that, we'll be sent all the information and we'll get your indicators indicating for you. You will have to go and set them up. To do that, follow the instructions here. Go to Trading Platforms at mytradingq.com. Click on Trading Platforms. And each platform down here has some instructions. There is also on Trade Rules, there's a video right here. If you watch that, you'll see it directs you for Trading View. If you have Essential, to use this right here, it's got 2 charts. And if you have Pro or better, use this one right here. It's got 4 charts. That's what you need to do for all that, right? Again, if you haven't taken a free trial, go here to mytradingq.com, click on the purple button. That'll get you going. Now, in the room today, we had just an okay day today. It was all right. I mean, it's a almost see today, so I was happy to get the goal and stay positive. We were pretty good on the NQ at one point. We were up 61 ticks at one point on the NQ, but then we had a few stop outs, as you can see. But we ended the day, if you can read the spreadsheet, you can read all CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. We ended the day with +9 on the NQ, +20 on the Russell, +1 on the YM, and -2 on the ES. Our last trade of the morning was a stop out on the ES. And that alone cut our day's earnings in half. Today it took 15 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. Now we're at 17 contracts. We've rolled up to 17 today. All right, we're in a 17th month. So we were at $3,570 when we hit the goal for the day today. It was at $210 a contract when we hit the goal for the day today. So on the month now we're at 125 over 1 day, 125. On the year now, over 82 days, we're now averaging $412 per contract per morning session. So down here now, this is different now because we went down to the 17th contract here. We're in the 17th month or the 5th month of the year. So this morning when we hit $210 a contract and we got the goal for the day, it was a 30-tick trade on the NQ that got us over the edge. We were pretty close to getting it, and then we got a 30-tick trade on the NQ that put us way over the edge. So by the end of this month, when we quit getting the goal, we have to be at $34,000 in this column right here. If we're at $34,000 in that column, we'll be at least at $10,000 with one contract. It'll be at least at $10,000. Okay. We have to make $2,000 per contract per month. So we're at 17 contracts in the room. And if you started this year with one contract, you'd be at your 5th contract. So it's going to be $10,000 with one contract. Oh, 5 contracts now. Right. All right. So the total hours worked so far this year, 31.5, and averaging $5,451 per hour with 17 contracts now, starting with 13 at the beginning of the year, and averaging $950 an hour on the year, with just starting with one contract and being on your 5th contract now. Okay, good stuff. Now let's get into the trades. There weren't a ton of trades today. There were only like 16 trades or something like that today. But we got a lesson plan. I went over a little bit in the lesson plan again. We go into the YM. I think we only had a couple of trades on the YM. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of movement. You'll see on the ES when we get there. On the ES, we had I had 2 positive trades around the YM. I think one of those is a break even. I got +1 on the first one, and I think I got a break even on the second one. That should be a yellow. I ended up with +1 on the YM, and that was all we did. You can see it's hugging the weekly trading zone right there, all the way through. Hugging the weekly trading zone. If I got away from it here and I was in the lesson plan, I didn't see that. And that was at the end of the session anyway. And during the break, we had 1 blue arrow right there. Okay, we got completely flat right through there. That was it for the YM. Not a whole lot going on with the YM. Now, in here, during the lesson plan today, I was using the leg links, and I was going through the leg links trying to show what the market looked like it was trying to do. Here, if you take this and put it back here, right? It completed that leg length right there, and I was looking for another one like that right here, but it did not do that. If I would have started at the top right here and used this right here as our first leg length, like that, then brought that. I'm just gonna get rid of this. Okay. That was all part of the. This was part of the lesson plan this morning. But then this down to here, and then this again, where it failed to put in the lower swing down to there. It tried to make the push down here, and I was trying to time it the way that some other people time things with the third dimension. But it didn't work out. It didn't go down. So that happens sometimes. Let's go all the way back to the beginning here and look at the trades we took on the Russell. Okay. We ended up, our first trade on the Russell was right in here. We ended up with 10 ticks profit on that. The next one was right here. We ended up with another 5 to get us to 15. Another one right here. We got 5 more to get us to 20. And I think that's all we did. Yeah. That's all we did. And since the morning session ended, there's been like nothing to do here. I don't know, when we do the live stream on YouTube, I'm going to look at other stuff probably because there's not that much going on. There is a short right here, but I mean, other than that, there's not that much going on. There's not that much going on here with the markets right now as we wait for the FOMC to come out. On the ES, we had 2 trades this morning. One was, we had 3 trades. I'm sorry, one was a break even, but look at all this no trade zone right here. All that no trade zone. So we had a break even on the first trade, then we had a +8 on the second trade, and then we had a -10 in here on the third trade. -10 on the third trade. And then during the break, there was 1 trade right here, didn't go anywhere, would have stopped you out to the tick. And then another trade right here where you could have gotten it back. Maybe I would have gotten a break even. But you can see the market is just completely sideways in here. And the NQ. Now, the NQ is one that we have the majority of the trades on as usual. I don't think we're going to have so far to go back today, though. We don't have as many bars anyway. That Russell trade is still working itself out that triggered a few minutes ago. Where are we now? 10 o'clock. All right, here we go. All right, so on the Russell, this is on the NQ, sorry. On the NQ, we didn't take a trade until all the way over here. Now, granted, I had trouble starting up this morning, and I've still got trouble. I thought I had this fixed yesterday. After the session yesterday afternoon at the 3 o'clock session, that completely fell apart. GoToWebinar did not work at all, and it hasn't worked right. It did work right 3 times since then, but I haven't gotten it to work right again. Logged in with the ID that I used to log in here. I did get it to work right once. I logged into this meeting once yesterday and it logged in just fine. And then this morning it just stopped working properly. So I'll figure it out. Anyway, our first trade on the NQ was right here. We picked up 13 ticks on the first trade and 3 ticks on the second trade to get us to, no, wait a minute. We picked up 1 tick on the first trade and then 30 ticks on the second trade to get us to 31. And then 30 ticks on the third trade to get us to 61. And that's where it started to, the wheels fell off. We had to stop out there, cut us down to 41. And then we had a small gain right there that got us up to 45. And then we had a stop out there that got us down to 25. Then another stop out there that got us down to 5. And then we got into the lesson plan. And we didn't trade all the way to all the way. We had one more trade. There it is. We had one more trade. We got a +4 on right there. I got +4 right there. And that was where we ended up for the morning session. So since then, there's been one more blue arrow here that didn't really give much. One blue arrow here that worked out well. Blue arrow here that worked out okay. Blue arrow here that worked out okay. Blue arrow here that worked out okay. And that was it. All right. So we ended up with +9, only +9 on it this morning. Okay, and the Russell trade over here, this was the Russell trade right here that I was talking about earlier, and that did go down enough to get you to stop to break even and take some profit, and it's moved back up since then. All right, that was it for the morning. So let me just let me do this. I want to bring up the YouTube over here. Bring that up. YouTube.com/CFRN. There it is. And we'll jump into this meeting over here. And I don't think anybody's asked any questions over there yet. I don't see any questions over there yet. It is FOMC today, so I don't know what we're going to get. Now, there is something I got to own. Last week on Friday, I had said, look at Mr. and these call options. They did get up just a little bit above where I said it, and then they came right back and got down below it. And I was thinking when the earnings came out, it was going to be good news, and the earnings were bad news. So those call options did not work out at all. You see, it did give us a short trade here, though. It did give you the short indication right here. Once it did not work out, it gave you the short indication there. So not every trade is going to be a winner. Not every trade will be a winner. That is a fact. Now, I think Bitcoin took a little bit of a beating today, too. Let's go to 5 here. Yeah, see Bitcoin right here is going down further than I thought it was going to go. And now that it's gone down this far, it should keep going. It should get all the way down here to like 50,000. This is where it should go down here to this orange line. 49, 50,000. I don't know what it's going to take to make it bounce up at this point. I don't know what the reason would be for this thing to start going back up, but we'll see. You know, this was just plain price action that was suggesting that it was going to move up to this level. And when it failed to do it several times, it failed to do it. You green arrow up, you green arrow up. Each one of those was profitable arrow. And it failed to put in a higher swing. Turned around and gave you a green arrow short right here. So that green arrow short nailed it on the way down. And now you just have to wait for the pullback to see if it's going to push further down. This is where, from price action, this is where it should go down to. It should find support right down here at this level. It should actually go down there pretty quickly too. It shouldn't take too long to get down there, maybe a day or two. We'll see if it does, but it should find support there. If it doesn't find support there, then it should be all the way down to 40,000, be the next level. This blue line down here. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know. All right, I don't even have a question box. Let me see if I can find the question box. File view. I don't have a question box, so I can't see any questions that are being typed in. Because I am in as a presenter, not as an organizer. I guess only organizers can see the questions. Yeah, I guess that's it. Dwayne, can you make me an organizer? And then I'll be able to see any questions that come in. And see the people that are actually in here. And if you can, you can. If you can't, all right. All right, so actually anybody that's in here that's got a question, you can just text me on my phone. You all have my phone number. And I can't see who you are right now. I can see how many you are, but I can't see who you are. All right, so we've got the green arrow right here for the push down on the Russell. That was after we had this right here. It did put in a little bit lower swing, so you could take that green arrow if you wanted to on the Russell right there. We're going sideways here on the NQ. We don't really have anything there. We're in a no trade zone here, and we're out of no trade zone on both of these, but the Russell needs to put in a lower swing. See the dashed red line right there is the midpoint. It's got to go through that midpoint to give us another trade, right? It might act as support again right here. Okay, so we're going to wait and see on that. Wait and see on that. And let's see, over here on the YM, we got to pull back up and test the ribbon. Hasn't done that yet. Okay. And that's all we got. I don't have, if we go out here and we look at this right now, we have OMC coming out this afternoon, so I don't know what the rest of the day is going to be like. But we can look at some of these other things. Yeah. You know, like Shopify, these other things that should be giving information out. It's having a great shorting opportunity right there, and that was yesterday. And it had a long right here earlier in the week. I guess that was Friday. Had a long right there. Worked out great. A short right here worked out great. This is Shopify on a 30-minute. These are just some of the things that seem to move around a lot. I had a great short right there a couple days ago. This one here didn't work out so well. All right, we had a long over here that would have stopped you out. Actually went into profit. I don't know when you would move your stop to break even, but it went to profit pretty good. The first target on that was 110.34. Actually, I don't know what the first target was on that. Let's go to replay and see. The first target on that was, if you have questions and you have my number, you can text me on my phone, and I'll answer your questions on the phone. Okay. I can answer your questions in there, but you got to text them to me. I have not been made a presenter, so I can't see what the, I mean, I haven't been made a presenter, but I haven't been made an organizer, and only the organizer can see the questions. All right. So right here, this is Netflix. Give a great shorting opportunity here. So all these things are given, the shorts like Schwab. That is what I trade on right here. And that gave a good shorting opportunity there. It gave a long opportunity Friday, and then this was Monday. You had the short opportunity right there. Apple. Let's see, we had a gap up on Monday on Apple, and we haven't gotten the short yet. It says possible short soon, but we haven't gotten it yet. And this, I believe, is Bank of America, right? Something like that, BAC. It hasn't given anything since the short back here on the 25th. The short was back here on the 25th, and the stop was up here, so that short is still active from the 25th. This should be Ford, I think, right? And that hasn't really given much either. He gave one long right here. That would give you some profit, but ultimately it would have stopped out right here on the pullback. That's orange juice. It's MDX, Amazon. Let's see what that did. All right. On the Amazon, that gave a short right here that would have stopped out right away. Like the day after, the day that triggered. This is the day that it triggered, right? This is a 30-minute, so the candle after triggered, it was stopped out right there. So the stop on that was $1.65. Not too bad. The risk reward on that was huge, but that's because the targets, it's not showing the targets, I guess. Let me see if I got them on there. Yeah, it should show the targets. The targets are way down here. Way down here is the target. So the entry is here, and the first target is way down there. That's why the risk reward is so high. And it would have stopped out pretty much immediately. And now it's making its way down. Google, I mean, everything is bearish right now. Everything is going down. This is a Google on the 30-minute. And wow, Google has not been moving all that much. The QQQ, not much happening there. We had a long trade back there. And this is natural gas. I don't know if you guys watch natural gas, but this is the leading contract to natural gas. Natural gas inventories come out tomorrow. We had crude inventories come out today. I didn't see what they were, but I can go check on that real quick. Let's see. Economic calendar. This morning we had S&P final PMI came in better than expected. ADP employment change came in better than expected. That was in pre-market. JOLTS came in worse than expected. JOLTS job quits worse than expected. Down here, ISM manufacturing came in worse than expected. This is all the crude stuff right here. The crude stocks, crude inventories came in. We had a huge build compared to the draw they were expecting. We had a huge build. That was a big miss. Gasoline, that was also a big miss. Right, and then this afternoon we have the Fed rate coming out at 2, and then the press conference coming out at 2:30. So you don't want to be trading like pretty much from now, like 1:30 anyway. You don't want to trade after 1:30, but there's not a lot of trading that I want to do right now either. There's just not a lot of trades happening right now. Tomorrow morning, though, we have a lot of news coming out. Now they don't call this high impact. They don't call it all high impact, but it really is. This stuff right here, they call it medium. We have this high impact news coming out. Initial jobless claims. And that's coming out at 8:30 in the pre-market, and then we don't have any more high impact news coming out tomorrow. All right. Friday morning, though, we have big stuff coming up. On-farm payrolls. The unemployment rate's going to be coming out right here after hourly earnings. We should have the unemployment rate too. Yeah, right here, the unemployment rate. Non-farm payrolls. All that's on Friday. So the rest of the week, we have some big news coming out. I mean, today, throughout the week, we have big news coming out. So there should be some good volatility after today. If we go through here and look at some of these other things, I don't even know what XLF is. ARCA. I don't know what that is. AMD, I do know what that is. Wow, look at the gap down on AMD right there. That was a huge miss right there. I don't know. 158 was a $10 gap right there. That's huge. And that was on earnings. So it looks like everything's missing earnings here. We don't have an earnings down here at the bottom of this. This is Goldman, I believe, and JP Morgan. All of these on, it didn't switch. Starbucks, look at the gap down on Starbucks. That was a huge gap down on Starbucks too. That was like, wow, that is a huge gap. That's like a 15% gap on Starbucks. Almost 20. Yeah. And that's on earnings. So none of the earnings are coming out very good here. He's like, let's see, XLE. I don't know what that is either. Disney, we already looked at that. Costco. Costco's, everything's red. Everything's going down. So it's looking pretty ugly here. Keep going down. Intel. Big gap down on earnings on Intel. Snap had a gap up. Look at that. We finally have something with a gap up. That's interesting. And that came out on Thursday, 25th. We had a gap up Thursday. Interesting. The only company with a gap up so far, going through all these, Microsoft, had earnings here. Had a gap up on the earnings and then gave it all back. The shorting opportunities, you can see here, it's giving the opportunities, giving the arrows in here on the short side. Now we don't really, with equities like this, unless you have an account where you can short trade, you're more interested in buying puts when you get these red arrows, the ones that you can't trade options on. Verizon is my phone company. And they're going down. It's just a mess in here, guys. The VIX, this is the VIX. Let's look at it on a daily. Okay, that is, well, it's a little bullish. Let's get it on the 30-minute. It's getting really small here on the 30-minute. And on the 1 minute, really small. We'll go back to the 30 and keep going down. Again, I can't see any questions that anybody has. So if you have any questions, if you typed anything in, if you want to see any symbol, you're going to have to text it to me on my phone. All right. You can text it to me at 617-943-3298. If anybody's got any questions, you want to see any other symbol. Otherwise, I don't have anything here. We're just looking at the trades. We're looking at the things that did happen. The earnings that came out. We did get a pullback here. We did get a lower swing and a pullback and a bounce off the ribbon. Let me look at this. Let me just show you this because this is important. We have it almost happening here again on the YM too. I've been saying this for days, even more than days. But when you get a pullback and you get a bounce off the ribbon and the outer band is the right color, that is a super trade right here. Same thing. Pullback and bounce off the ribbon with the outer band being the right color. You want to take those trades when you get them. Okay. They don't happen very often when you get the bounce off the ribbon and the outer band is the right color. They don't happen very often. When you do get them, you want to take advantage of them because they are really good trades. There's one there. There's one here. Here and here. All of those good trades. And that just happened again right here. It's almost happening again right now. If we were to hit the ribbon right now and get it down close, then it would happen again right here. But the outer band is the right color. Okay. You want to make sure you take those trades. It's almost happening over here. Well, it was blowing up. It didn't have a lower swing. That's what you would need it over here, was the lower swing. Now, when that happens, you still have to have all the normal things you get with the trade setup. Like in the trade, well, you got to have this stuff right here, right? 2 entry rules for all platforms. All trades must come after a higher or lower swing, and they must be in long-term trend direction. Well, the trend direction is going to be, it's going to be defined by the outer band color, of course. But the higher or lower swing, that's still going to happen, right? You still have to have the higher or lower swing. Like this one over here, we didn't get a lower swing right here, right? So if it did happen right here, that wouldn't be the highest probability trade, right? Whereas right here, we did get a lower swing. Right here, we got down one more tick and a pullback and bounced off it right there. Same thing over here. We did get a lower swing there and it bounced off it right there. Okay, you guys see that? This is what it looks like on the ES. Now, I did something yesterday. And I'll do it again right now so you guys can see it. Now, I guess I'm just going to strip everything off of this chart right here. I'm going to remove all the drawings. And I'm going to go in here and do this. Get rid of the weekly trading zones. Get rid of the midpoint. And we'll go in here and we'll leave that on. Get rid of that and that and that and that. We'll leave those on. And that, that, and that, that, and that, and that, and that, and that. And there you have it. So, with just this information that you have right here, when you have the outer band red and there's a spread in between these, let me do one more thing. Shut off. I still have something on here that I don't want to see. Here it is right here, the target lines. Get rid of the table too. All right, so when it pulls back to the ribbon and the outer bands are the right color, you can see it pretty obviously here. All right, when it pulls back to the ribbon and the outer bands are the right color and they're spread out, those are really good trades. Pulls back to the ribbon, the outer bands are spread out and they're the right color. That one didn't go very far, but you don't want them to be flat like this, right? You want to be spread out like this. Spread out like that, like this one right here. Now these, it was the wrong color here on pullback, so that's not it. But right here, this right here, that was the right color. Right in here, all good trades. I am going to create something that'll put an arrow on those for you, and you'll see more clearly how good those trades are when they pull back in here, when it's the right color and they hit the ribbon. I think this was yesterday afternoon. I don't know what happened there yesterday afternoon. I guess some earnings came out yesterday afternoon at that time. I don't know. I don't know about that. But anyway, we pull back here, hit the ribbon, outer band's the right color. Good stuff. And this is on a 7 range. It doesn't have to just be on a 7 range. Okay, it can be on any time frame. You know, I was talking with one of our partners, who's looking to trade the NQ on an hourly chart. That's more like Bert speed. No offense to Bert, but that's, you know, he likes to trade on bigger time frames like that. But you can see right here, it came back, hit the ribbon, gave it down close, the outer band's the right color. That's a good trade. It doesn't matter what time frame you're in. Okay. Came back, hit the ribbon, right there. The outer band was the right color. Over here, came back, hit the ribbon. This actually have to close way down here. It's going to be closer to the ribbon. The close is going to be a little closer to the ribbon for it to be significant. Something like, well, I don't really see any in here. But this is on the 30-minute chart. Yeah, like this one right here, a little closer to the ribbon. That's all you need. You know, you need one of those a day. One of those a day. I'm going to say right now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, let me show you that again. Go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. Click on that purple button. It's going to bring you to this registration page. On this page, all we ask for is your first name, your last name, your email, your phone number. I just had to go through this myself to sign up to get in here for some reason. It really took less than 30 seconds. It took like 10 seconds to go through here and choose this. Yes. Yes. Both. Other person. And what charting platform? Use DT Pro, TradingView, and NinjaTrader. I don't really use Ninja, but I have Ninja. And so in here, if I needed to provide any of this to me, I would provide it right there. And then I would be able to set up my charts and get all my indicators indicating. Okay. All right. Let me bump this back down to a 7 range. And we'll get back in here and we can see right in here. The outer band's the right color and it pulls back an inside ribbon. That's all you need. If you just wait for those trades, you do just fine. Yeah, the blue arrows themselves are great. This is like, a lot of these are going to be blue arrows. Like this one right here would be a blue arrow. You know, a lot of these are going to be blue arrows. But these may or may not be in no trade zones, where the blue arrows will not be in a no trade zone. These might trigger within a no trade zone. Okay, that's the one difference between those and the blue arrows. Let me minimize this and go back here and see if we have any other trades coming together for us here. There's nothing here on the ES. That was the one we were just looking at. Things seem to have changed directions on us here. And on the NQ, they also changed directions. So we'll just wait and see here what's happening. Yeah. All right. I can't see if anybody's got any questions. So I guess, you know what, we can just pass it back out to Fab, just Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know if Dwayne's there. Yep, okay. I can't, you know, when I'm a presenter and not an organizer, I can't see the questions and I can't see who's in the room.
Oh, I can make you the organizer. I thought that's what I did. My bad.
Okay.
There you go. But there are no questions. But now you can see there are no questions.
All right. Well, I mean, there's nothing going on right now, so that's about all I got.
Okay.
Now I can pass it back out to you if you want.
Wait.
The Fed announcement coming up here. And I don't see anything out on YouTube either. So.
All right. Recap of the morning session.
Today it took 15 minutes and 4 trades to get to $3,578 this morning.
Good job.
Thank you. Now we rolled up to 17 contracts today. We added one more because it's the 17th month. So.
Awesome. All right, guys. We've covered all the markets. Here's one last look at that little tiny daily doji, which will change when the Fed announcement comes out, whatever it is, good, bad, or ugly. Initial volatility at 2 p.m. Eastern. Then at 2:30, we get the press conference. First, the delivered statement, the prepared statement, and then questions from the audience. Those questions from the audience is when it can get really volatile. Best position, no position. Said it before, earlier in the broadcast, just reminding you. Okay. Now, price is going to try to do one of two things. Break the previous swing high or the previous swing low. That's what price is always trying to do in every market, in every time frame. It's just how markets work. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. Hit that buy now button. Or if you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI or send us an email to support@cfrn.net. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have anyone to teach them how to trade. They've got oodles and oodles of indicators and oscillators and cherry-picked videos and even some good books. What they lack is a living, breathing human being taking the time, 2 hours every trading day, to teach them how to trade. You wouldn't think of becoming a lawyer or a doctor, banker, a baker, or a candlestick maker without first having someone to teach you how to do the job. But yet, in the world of trading, because the barrier to entry is so low, it must be easy, right? being an attorney or a brain surgeon, that's hard because it takes so many years. You got to pass all these tests, and it costs a lot of money. Trading, on the other hand, must be simple because there's no licensing required, no certification required, no educational requirements, and I can go into business for a couple grand. How deceitful is that? How deceptive is that? That's why this statistic hasn't changed in 20 years that I'm aware of, and it was the same before that. I can vouch for the last 20 years. The good news is when you become a passport holder, you do get a teacher, 2 hours every trading day. You also get one-on-one private mentoring at no extra cost. Strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets, all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again, a never-ending cycle. As a passport holder, you'll receive the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, weekly trading zones, be able to attend the Thursday night members-only workshop, and you'll get the golden key that opens all the private channels in Telegram. It truly is everything a trader needs, all under one roof, at one low price. Wrap it up with our good word day. Now, for the last 3 days, our topic has been faithfulness. When you're on a roll, stay on it. Lamentations 3:23. Lamentations comes from the root word lament. You don't hear a lot of sermons preached out of Lamentations. But in Lamentations 3:23, we do read, "Great is thy faithfulness." Faithfulness can turn the most menial job into a vitally important one. For example, think about how dependent we are on something as small as a postage stamp. It's always ready for service. It goes wherever it's sent. It does whatever it's asked to do. It sticks to the task until it's done. See what I did there? It doesn't give up when it's licked. I did it again. It stays up to date, and it finds no job too small. We weren't all born with equal talents. Some of us are more gifted in certain areas than others. But every one of us was born with an equal responsibility to utilize his or her abilities at full capacity. That's the most any of us can do. And it's what God, who gave us our talents, expects us to do. 200 years ago, when the U.S. Marine Corps was first formed, officials gave considerable time to contemplating a fitting motto. They finally chose the Latin phrase, Semper Fidelis. You've probably heard it as simply Semper Fi. It's a phrase now engraved on the mind of every Marine. What does it mean? Always faithful. Both are important words, but the most important is the first one. always. Why? Because a Marine can't afford to be faithful only when it's comfortable or convenient, or when they feel like it, or when it will make them happy. Semper Fidelis means you must always be faithful, regardless of the cost. God wants to be able to say the same thing about you as is said about him. Great is thy faithfulness. So whether you're a boss, an employee, father or mother, a husband or wife, a friend, a teammate, or a Marine, word for today is always be faithful. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you, His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.